All right, everybody. Good afternoon. A little bit later in the afternoon now. Hope you guys are still doing well. And we've got ourselves a practice report for today. And I said earlier in that video that I made talking mostly about Julian Love that if the injury report told us new information, it told us things that weren't apparent from the initial press conferences, I would make another video. Well, I think that's probably the case here. It's debatable, granted, but I think that especially with the commander side of things, there are some things looking at here independent of the earlier video. So we've got the Seattle Seahawks injury report for Wednesday. Keep in mind that we are still several days away from the game, and we don't have to start really divining information until we get to tomorrow, I think. But still good to look at, still good to be informed. John Boyle has the latest from both teams. Be right back. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today, get to it, and go have some fun with sports this year. Okay, so let's take a look here, and right away we get I'm not going to say alarming bit of info because it's not, but Sam Darnold somehow showed up on the injury report this week, so don't know what happened there, don't know what he did. It's a chest injury, and he was listed as a full participant, so I wouldn't be concerned. It is kind of weird, though. You have to wonder what happened there. If maybe it's really, really minor, maybe it's super insignificant, but always notable, always interesting when somebody is apparently injured enough to show up on the report. So we got that. Christian Haynes, full participant with the pectoral. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be active this week. And that does, even if he is, it doesn't mean it matters. It doesn't mean he's going to play. I think Haynes is probably going to at least start as the backup. But it is good that he's starting out as a full participant. That means he can probably get back on the field very soon. And even if he's not good, even if he's not a good player anymore, or, well, never was a good player, still better to have him than not have him, because I have to assume he's better than Mason Richmond or whatever. So we got that. Cooper Kupp, heel injury, so that's new, but he was a full participant, so it's really insignificant. Robbie Oots, full participant, so again, when it comes to these guys that are coming off IR, sometimes they have to build up their strength. So that's not a guarantee that he's going to be able to play this week, but it's obviously looking good. And we know he has a chance, so full participant, good stuff. And Devin Witherspoon, here's the big one here. Here's the big hammer. Devin Witherspoon with a knee injury, a full participant. So if he doesn't play this week, I don't know what to say at that point. Last week was, or 2 weeks ago was already kind of a rug pull when he didn't play. So the fact that he is listed as a full participant again, that should mean we're good to go. And if we're not good to go by the end of this week, I'm going to be scratching my head. Now, we had some limited participants. Derek Hall with the oblique limited, so that bodes well for his ability to play this week. Hopefully he can work his way up to a full participant by the end of this week. But that's obviously good news. DeMarcus Lawrence was resting, not injury related, so he was limited, but we're not going to think about that. We're not going to worry about that. Jaron Reed also limited with a wrist injury, so I think that's new. He's been on the injury report before. He's old, so it's not surprising that he's getting a lot of little injuries, but it doesn't seem like it's anything that's going to keep him off the field. Leonard Williams resting, not injury related, so limited, but we don't really care about that. All right, so the DNPs today, we already knew some of this, but Julian Love with the hamstring, which, again, Like I said earlier, I'm assuming he's out this week. I'm assuming he's not playing. It would be, at this point, a big surprise to me if he played. They're talking about putting him on IR, so that tells me there's no way he plays in the next game. Eric Saubert with a calf injury. Don't know what happened there. Usually you come out of your bye week healthier, not more injured, so that's not cool, but he is your third string tight end, so you'll find a way to live. But is worth noting, no practice for him. And Derek Young did not participate, as was said earlier by McDonald, expecting Derek Young to go on IR in the next day or two. Even if he doesn't, I'm certainly not expecting him to play this week. So there's a reason why you signed Velez Jones. You signed him because you anticipate this. So honestly, would have been nice to have a cleaner injury report coming off the bye week, but most of this stuff is not that bad. The bad thing here really is Julian Love. That's the one that we need to be alarmed. Okay. That's the Seahawks side. Washington side, it's a little bit shorter, but they have some problems of their own. Now, the good news for them, like I said earlier, Jaden Daniels was a full participant. Now, he's got the hamstring. And as we're learning the hard way with Julian Love, hamstring injuries are tough. So it's not a guarantee of anything, but he is on his way to being able to play on Sunday. So it looks like he's tracking to play. Javon Kinlaw was a full participant with a shoulder injury, so probably fine there. And Bobby Wagner. Now, I as much as you want to win the game, I have to believe most Seahawks fans would prefer they see Bobby Wagner on the field on Sunday. Might be the last time we play a game against Bobby Wagner. Might be the last time the Seahawks play a game with Bobby Wagner on the field when the game is being played. Very possible. So it's a thumb injury anyway. Hard to believe a thumb injury would keep Bobby Wagner off the field anyway. But so those guys looking good. We've got one limited participant, Colson Yankoff. Not a big participant in their offense, but a fun participant in weekly memes with his last name. Hamstring injury, limited, whatever. Not a big factor. It is these DNPs that are particularly interesting. Now, Zach Ertz is resting, not injury related. That's whatever. He's fine. Matt Gay, though. Matt Gay, their kicker, back injury, DNP. We know that there have been some kicker-related shenanigans this year on many sides. We've seen all kinds of problems teams have had with their kickers and their special teams units in general. So if the Commanders are down Matt Gay, that could negatively affect them, so worth monitoring. And even if he plays, if you're a kicker, you want everything to be perfect. You don't want to be messing around with any kind of an injury whatsoever, because kicking is such a delicate operation. Terry McLaurin not participating. We already know he's not going to play this week, so there's not much there. Von Miller, not injury related. He's just resting, so he's going to play. He's fine. Here are the two interesting ones. You got Jerzon Newton with the ankle injury, not practicing today. He hasn't been everything that they were hoping for coming out of college, but he's an important part of their defensive line rotation still. He had the sack on Monday against Mahomes, and then he slung him down, I think, and got the 15-yard penalty. So he did play against the Chiefs, so something's going on here. And here's another big one, and this would be very crippling to their offense that is already kind of crippled. Laramie Tunsil, tackle, starting left tackle with a hamstring injury, did not participate. Looking like there's a decent chance at that point that he doesn't play, especially, again, with the hamstring. So Washington's got big problems too, probably bigger problems than us. They're coming off the short week, remember, right? They played Monday night. So coming off a Monday night game, you're dealing with all this. You're facing a team that had an extra week off. Like, it's not going to be fun for them. And you can see that if they can't get a quick turnaround on these guys, they're going to be down their top receiver, their top offensive lineman. It seems like they're going to have their quarterback at least, but they could be down one of their defensive linemen. It's not great there either. All right, so that is about it for the injury report. We did actually learn a lot from this compared to earlier today, but yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and round all that up. Notable stuff. See you guys later. I should be streaming later tonight. Power Wash. Just came out last week, I think, so brand new game, and I'll be co-oping it, so come watch. I will see you guys soon. Everybody have a good rest of your day.